Welcome, everybody, across the fruited plains and around the globe. We are Canyon Lake Broadcasting, Voice of the Hawks. Glad to be here for an edition of Sports Scoop. And we want to welcome everybody here in Canyon Lake, Texas as well. Thank you for Canyon Lake High School for your support for Canyon Lake Broadcasting, as well as Comal ISD. I'm your host for the Sports Scoop, and I am Corey Martelli. Glad you could be here. This will be recorded. Coming to you from the basement. Sports Scoop, the inside-outside of the hub of Canyon Lake Hawks Sports Athletics. Glad you're here again, and tell your friends about every Wednesday night. You can see us here or see me here at 7 p.m. Sports Scoop. We'll give you the hub and download what's going on, what happened the previous week, and what's going to happen here in the next week. Well, let's start off with things. Let's get going. No time to jack around. At Steaks on the Grill. 7 o'clock. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about volleyball. Lady volleyball went out to Bernie and they lost 3 sets to none, 14-25, 21-25, and 14-25, as the Lady Hawks go to 1-1 in the district. And you just know that was a big environment for Canyon Lake volleyball going into Bernie. It's a hard place to win. They have a lot of fans that stay and watch their volleyball, as does Canyon Lake. But they'll go down 1-1 in district right now. But they're going to rebound because this Friday night at Canyon Lake High School, the Hawks are going to welcome the Wimberley Texans, and they are the other piranha in the district, along with Canyon Lake volleyball themselves. So Canyon Lake volleyball will take on the Wimberley Lady Texans, and it'll be a great game. If you go to the game, hey, you can put your phone on. You can catch Canyon Lake Broadcasting as we travel to Blanco to take on the Panthers in football. That's the beauty of live stream. You can catch us while you're watching volleyball at the high school. So we'll be getting updates as they occur at the broadcast Friday night from some people at the Canyon Lake High School on the girls volleyball. But those girls are going to welcome the Texans, and they have a very good chance of beating the Texans. It's in anybody's game here in the district, and Canyon Lake will be in the hunt for that district title. There's going to be one team that won't make the playoffs, and that's going to be Davenport, because they don't play varsity volleyball. But Canyon Lake is going to have an opportunity. They're just now ginning along after the volleyball season, crazy volleyball season, right? No tournaments, not to be able to adjust to see who does what during the volleyball season, as Coach Clemens had said at the Coach's Corner on Monday. And now they're just now begin to gel, to get that rhythm a little bit. So expect good things from the girls volleyball team, as Coach Carter and Coach Malone, at the leadership of Coach Clemens, has it going on with the girls over there. So this Friday night, again, the girls volleyball team will take on the visiting Wimberley Texans. And if you can make it by all means. You could watch some volleyball, then hook them up 281 and get to the game and watch the Canyon Lake Hawk varsity football team on the Panthers, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. Lots to talk about tonight. Well, this one updates you a little bit, not too much. I know you're tired of hearing about it. Hey, man, I am too. It sucks. So that's the COVID monster. COVID monster rose its head this past weekend and shut down several schools across the state. So every time we get to go play Friday night or Thursday night, play tennis, we got swimming going on at Canyon Lake High School, COVID could shut you down. And every time I've had a podcast, I've mentioned this until I'm going to be blue in the face, is that when you play athletics, high school, college, wherever, right, you have the ability to help control if you get COVID or not by wearing a simple mask. Not only do you have the ability to control it at school or where you work, but you also have the ability to do that off work. So a lot of you athletes like to get together and have a good time on the weekends. Just know you're putting in jeopardy your season, because COVID, as it is dangerous, as is any other flu, influenza personally, common cold, pneumonia, things that affect the elderly, COVID can kill, no doubt about it. But the killer to you for the younger people, since it has a 99.8% survival rate, is that once you get labeled with COVID, you're done. Take a seat, 14 days, no questions asked. Did you sit next to somebody? Go to the drive-through? Did you go to the movie theater? Did you see a party of the weekend? Went shopping with somebody? Whatever it is, once you get labeled, it's a killer. You're done, at least for 14 days. Hoping you don't get COVID-19, because it is real as cancer, as they say. So enough about that. Hope you parents and athletes out there stay smart and keep away from everybody on the weekends and not congregating. If you do, wear your mask. That'll help you stay healthy and smart. It's a good play to play. All right, moving right along. We'll get off the COVID gravy train for just a minute. Let's talk a little bit about Because I Said I Would. Because I Said I Would is in his third year under direction of Jeff Strassner, the Strassner man. He's down there at Canyon Lake High School, and he's put together the second annual Overlook Parkway cleanup. We call it at Canyon Lake, going to the dam. And there's a park down there. And we have a lot of people from San Antonio, Austin, out of town, New Braunfels, and they trash the lake. It's not so much the people at Canyon Lake, it's the people who visit Canyon Lake. They just can't seem to get it together. When something's free in a park, you're not exactly going to attract, the people who bring their own trash cans. You're going to attract some of the people who just litter everywhere. That's just fact. So what has Jeff Strassner, Because I Said I Would, done about it? Well, they volunteer. They volunteer and they go down and clean up that park. They do it every year. It's a great tradition that Because I Said I Would program started at Canyon Lake, started doing my son's first year. They did it last year and they're going to do it again this year. It's going to be Saturday, I believe, at, let me make sure I'm not lying to you. God knows I don't like to lie. I tell the truth even when I'm lying. Hang on, get it to you here. It's going to be Saturday, October 10th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it won't be this weekend. It'll be the next weekend. Get you a lot of time, free time, to go down there and enlist. They have a thing on Instagram. Go just look up, Canyon Lake High School on Instagram, or call the school at 830. Make that 830-885-1700. Ask for Jeff Strassner. That's the Because I Said I Would program. It's a great program at Canyon Lake High School, and Jeff Strassner has done a lot with that program. So if you want to volunteer, help out the kids, and join them, get a hold of Because I Said I Would. They'll go down there Saturday, the 10th of October. They're going to clean up the dam. They usually come away with just like 40 some odd bags last time they went of garbage. And they don't just kind of walk along, get the major stuff. They get the little bitty stuff. They reach in the cracks of those rocks down at the lake, and they give it a good cleaning. It's something to be very proud of. And Canyon Lake High School should really hoist that banner, because they're doing a lot of good community service. Maybe we'll get the Zytung down there to give them some coverage. I'm going to write a story about it on Facebook as well with Jeff Strassner, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. It's a good program, Because I Said I Would program, in its third year, and I'll make that the second year. This is the second year. It's been going on. It's a great program, and if you're thinking about your kids getting into high school, they really got to get into that program. It's great to put on your resume as you're going to other colleges, and your volunteer stuff that you'll need if you do go to college. It's something that they look for. So get that out there, and make sure that you are a part of that if you want to be. It's a good program. Well, moving right along, let's talk about the Canyon Lake Athletic Booster Club. Looking for members, you can be a member of the Canyon Lake Athletic Booster Club for $30, and you can get a hold of them at clhsabc.com. At clhsabc.com. Pretty simple. You can look them up on Facebook. You can look them up pretty much anywhere. Just Google them. You can find them. And that's headed up by LJ Anderson. He's president over there, turning things around for the Booster Club, and always looking for some support. And any donations you'd like to make, hey, we need them. They need them. We all need them during this crazy, crazy time we live in. And they need as much donations as they can get during this time, because the Booster Club cannot, do some of the things in fundraising aspect that it did in the past, just due to COVID-19, and that's hurting them. And so, please, if you can, you watch this, tell your friends to maybe just make a donation. You can find pretty much any Booster Club member. Just contact the high school. They can get hold of some of the people, and need as much as you can. We got to support our Booster Club. All right. And we're going to move right along. So let's talk about the Coach's Corner just a little bit. Coach's Corner goes on every Monday night at 6:30. This week, we're going to have strong guard from the varsity football team, Daniel Garcia. He'll be joining us. I've got one person that I am hunting down, and I think that they will be able to come on. I'm not going to get it out there yet, but it will not be a coach. It'll be someone a little different, but they support Canyon Lake High School, and it's good to have them on to get a different perspective. But we will talk to Daniel Garcia, the strong guard, making a big difference. and I'm hunting for a couple more football players that I have not confirmed yet on that. So we're going to give it a little bit of half football and half other as the Coaches Corner continues every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Watch it right here on YouTube. We send out the links for the Coaches Corner on Sunday and Mondays, the podcast of which I'm on now, and then the link to the football game all goes out Monday via Canyon Lake High School. Jim Robinson does a good job sending that out through the email system, and you just keep looking for your emails through Canyon Lake High School via Jim Robinson. So we send those links out. The Coaches Corner, it's a non-formal get together about sports. We've got swimming going on with Coach Moses, Mrs. Kim, Coach Moses, and we've got tennis going on with Corey Mickey. He's got that thing up and going. And then we also have Coach Montgomery with the cross country. And as you remember, on the first Coaches Corner, Coach Montgomery is a new guy coming in here to take over the cross country and soccer. So he's one of our new coaches. You can go back through the archives, look up the first Coaches Corner that we did at North Shore United Methodist Church. So view it. It's fun. You can always go back to YouTube here and watch every game or everything we do. And it's all recorded here on YouTube as Canyon Lake Broadcasting enters its 5th year. Cannot believe I've been doing this for 5 years. This is the 134th broadcast that Canyon Lake has done. And they said it wouldn't last. And but we've seen over the horizon a little bit, making our way through little by little, being constant and organically grown. Our producer for Canyon Lake Broadcasting, in case you've been living in the Jurassic period, is Darren Lesturgeon. And we picked up Don Holmes has always been a staple there as well. And we picked up LJ Anderson last year, and he's on board as well. So that constitutes the voice of the Hawks. And we've got a lot of good things to talk about in the future about Canyon Lake Broadcasting, moving ahead with some things. It takes a little bit of incremental work to get things done. We've got some cameras. We've got some people who've donated some funds to buy those cameras. LJ Anderson's grandparents. We've got Troy Viatric and his son's Derek Viatric on the Canyon Lake Hawk football team. We've got Chris Brown is donating as well. We've got Steve Crisp donating and Mike McMullen donating. And some of those names you'll know, they have sons who play on the football team. So those guys have chipped in. We've got a lot of equipment. We've dropped a lot of money this fall to bring you things that you may not understand, but all you understand is it's a picture. You can hear us and see us. A lot of stuff goes on behind the screen, believe you me. The other person we did pick up to run the camera was TJ Bame, and we appreciate him. He'll be running the camera for us this year. And a lot of people think you just take the camera and you move it around and do this. There's so much stuff that goes on to produce a show. I can't even tell you how much. It's things that I do that I just do out of motion, muscle memory, that things are hooked up and way they go and way we push some buttons and make things happen. The good people in life always make things look a lot easier than they really are. Not saying we are by any means, but however, Darren does a bang-up job. So a lot of backlogging, meaning we go and look at games, stats, facts, figures, the offense and defense, both teams, and we come together and put some stats together, and LJ Anderson does a good job always coming up with these stats and information from the opposing team. So Coach's Corner comes on every night. Podcast is here every Wednesday night here at 7 p.m. coming from the basement, Grandma's house, as some people like to tell me I'm from, but I'm not actually in Grandma's house. This is one of the rooms in my house. Notice the Canyon Lake flag, Texas State Bobcats, eat them up, and the Aggie ring, right? All big parts of proving to you I do have a home. So anyway, we appreciate everybody out there. We're going to move right along and talk about some football. Blanco Panthers up next. And it's going to be a traveling game to Blanco. Blanco's 4-1 on the season, and they're rifling through people like cheap underwear. They've got a good record. They're putting up the points. Again, they are 3A Division I, Region 4, District 13, and they are in the district with Llano. Llano is 5-0, and Lago Vista as well. Now, Blanco at 4-1 lost their only game to Shiner. Shiner is, I think number 3 or 4, depends on what site you look at. Dave Campbell, Max Preps, Sideline to Sideline, Iron Grid, all these different places kind of have everybody ranked a little different. UIL has a ranking. It's always floating. But Blanco did lose to Shiner 69-20. They got thumped by a good team. I tell you this, and because the teams that they have played, Yorktown, Johnson City, Anderson Shiro, they put up 60 points. Anderson Shiro 39-6, I believe they won. They walloped Johnson 60 to Johnson City 63 to 9, maybe 7 or 9. They beat Yorktown first game of the season. Like, I can't remember what the score was, but Yorktown didn't win. And here is the information you're going to need to know that may tilt you more towards Canyon Lake's favor for Friday's game, that I really don't want you to grab on too hard, but we're going to tell you those three teams, other than Shiner, Yorktown, Johnson City, Anderson Shiro, they're terrible teams this year. They're not good teams. They lost. They have a combined record of like 2 wins and 8 losses or something like that. So has Blanco played a tough team? You bet. Shiner. They got whipped. Have they played 3 teams that aren't very good? Yes. And they won big, and they should have won big, just like Canyon Lake has done. Canyon Lake in the past has played some teams they should have won big, Austin Eastside Memorial, stuff like that. And so you should win the games you should win. Canyon Lake has been playing some very tough teams. Canyon Lake has played Beeville, they've played Jourdanton, and they've played Wimberley. Canyon Lake could be this close to being 4-0 right now at the bye. So Canyon Lake will have its hands full Friday night in Blanco. And so will the Panthers. A lot of people, I don't get into chat rooms. I hear chat from my friends and people are watching out there about what people are saying on these chat rooms. I don't give it the time of day because at the end of the day, just like we were telling you at Jourdanton, it's about the 11 people on the field that need to be given one play. That's all that matters. Blanco's going to bring it. Last 3 games, Canyon Lake has won. The last game we won 10-0. And I think Canyon Lake was riding a little high in the saddle and thought they're going to just wallop Blanco, and they won, but they won on some pretty big plays and 10-0. In last 3 years, Canyon Lake has held the Panthers to 21 points total. Now, is that a repeat performance this Friday? I don't know. Is indicative of what's been going on. Canyon Lake has played some tough games. I'm telling you, they have, and you know it as well. So has Blanco gotten a little soft schedule? Seems to be, but I wouldn't carry that over too much with any bravado saying, hey, Canyon Lake, we're going to roll Blanco. Canyon Lake has never really rode Blanco, only this couple times. Austin Brennan, longest run from scrimmage, 89 yards, happened to Blanco about 5 years ago, I think it was. And that was 2016. But Blanco's going to bring it. I'm telling you, they gear up for this all the time. And the reason they play us so tough, like Liberty Hill and Navarro, is they run the wing tee and they run it well. Coach Tesh over there has got things going. They got them ginning, and they have some good talent on their team, as they did 2 years ago in 2018, where we won 21-14. We went in there a little cocky, a little high, and we pulled out 14 points in the fourth quarter, and we beat them 21-14. I think this is going to be one of the same type of games in the 2018. We can win. We play our game. We do not fumble. At 4 turnovers against Jourdanton last time we had a football game, cannot do that against anybody. Any simple penalties. First and goal at the 10, penalty, offsides. First and goal from the 15, penalty, offsides. First and goal from the 20. Now you got problems with a good defense. So those are things, obviously, that everybody hates to see. We talk about it every day, every coach, every team across America. The silly penalties kill you. Unsportsmanlike conduct calls will kill you. So if Canyon Lake just plays their game, for this game, for every game we have out there, we got a shot at winning them all, even Lampasas. I'm telling you, we've got some talent on the team. Everybody's healthy. We'll talk a little bit more about some of that in just a second. So Blanco Panthers are going to bring it. That's all I can tell you. Don't get too high in the saddle. I'm sure there's all kinds of information floating on the phone and all these chat rooms about this and that. I don't get into it. My duty here at Canyon Lake Broadcasting is represent Canyon Lake Athletics, the sports, and not get into the trenches of all the hearsay on all these sites and get overzealous. But Canyon Lake is going to bring a good game to Blanco. I guarantee they will. Have a little word on the inside that some of the best practices of the year have been this week. Offensive line is doing things that they say they haven't done all season. So look for good things from that big offensive line. Crisp at center, strong guard Daniel Garcia, right guard Teutsch. Over there on that other side, right side, strong tackle is Brett Harwell, the sophomore monster, high energy guy. On the left side, you've got Tyler Atenzia, also known as Cheese Puff. Not sure what that's about, but he does have a nickname called Cheese Puff. And then we bring in Tanner Schultz. He plays that flex in, and sometimes we'll bring Ramey in. And those blocks, those backs in the backfield, they block for each other. They'll also bring in Jeremy Green. We have a pretty good, solid offensive front seven, if you will. And of recently, our quarterbacks begin to go green light to run that ball. And we're going to have possibly a look off the injured list. We may see a little Bates, and we probably will see Allman as well, play a little defense for Canyon Lake. Not sure if they'll get Allman in the backfield. Bates may get a few looks just to get his legs back underneath him. Take it easy, right? I'm sure you're going to have a steady diet of Shane Moss again, learning his lessons from the Jourdanton game. You're going to see Viatric on that side of the ball behind McMullen as well, along with Rivali. He's got a little speed on him this year as well. And you may see one or two different people in the backfield as well. Probably will not see Elijah Johnson this game. Blanco is going to have to probably do without him so we can have Elijah step up for district, which is right around the corner. And boy, it's going to be a brutal district. I'll talk about that in just a minute. So the injured reserve list, they have a few off there. Jesse Horney, you're not going to see. He's still on the injured reserve list as well. We got a horse stall of backs, and we're going to use them all. I probably have some looks back there that people you may not see, run the ball quite a bit, but you might get a one or two breather run out of them. Coach may put them in there. Coach will probably go for fourth down territory inside the opponent's 40-yard line like he always does. So will Blanco. Coach Tesh runs that well. They know how to play against the slot T offense because basically they run a version of it. It's a wing T. That's why it's been hard to get over on Blanco. They're not fools. So it should be a good game. It's going to be 7 passes per side, offense, defense. That's what Blanco is averaging. They pass the ball about 7 times per game. And Canyon Lake may get there. They may not. We find something that works, keep running until they stop it. But it will be a ground and pound game, and Blanco will throw the ball. They do have some good athletes, good quarterback, and they've spread the ball through their running backs with about 5 running backs who get 100 yards or more a game. Some are high 80s, 90s. They've got a couple running backs in there who run a lot of the game, a lot of the ball for the game. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for a battle game. I'm telling you, just like in 2018, it will be a slobber knocker, man. So bring your hankies, bring your mask, bring your Canyon Lake gear, bring your cowbell, bring everything to the kitchen sink and get loud because they're going to bring it as well. They would love to punk us. We haven't been beaten 3 years, and I can tell you this senior squad on the front line up there with Harwell, who's a sophomore, and Ramey, they want to continue that streak. Now, on the defensive side of the ball for Blanco, they're going to be running some stunts in that middle A gap, B gap in there. They're going to run 5-man front with 3 backers. They're going to bring up the corners, bring in a strong safety in and out, and that's going to limit that jet sweep that we like to run sometimes. They know what that looks like. Look for a few plays that we haven't seen before from the offense, perhaps, to throw that off. But look for some plays we hadn't seen, as we always do in this time of year. And obviously, the coaches say some plays for district, which is right around the corner. Yeah, the defense for Blanco, they're big on the inside. They've got some big boys, but they also have some speed. And when you're running the jet sweeps, backside traps, and all these other plays, and you're doing misdirection, yes, that will get them the offense to 3.5 yards 3 times and can move the ball, but Blanco will be pinching down. In order to get them out of their trenches, you'll have to get a little wide on them or get somewhere where you fool them, and Coach Moses Wally have that figured out. On our side of defensive ball, Sean Pendleton will be back for Canyon Lake. That hasn't been on the stats in the last 2 weeks, and Blanco may or may not be aware of that. That has a huge ability for Canyon Lake to do some of the things. Not that Maxim hasn't done a great job. They have. Coach Hoop is going to be bringing them in and out as well. But you'll have Allman playing linebacker. You'll have Beatric playing linebacker. And number 9, Brock, he'll also be playing. 3 good, fast linebackers. Brock has a nose for the ball to get there as well. The corners will come up. They'll roll with Carnes and Pauly. He's a senior leader back there. And then there's always a hard-hitting Jeremy Green. Two Andersons will likely be playing in the safety positions back there. I'm not really afraid that they're going to get over on us on big plays, but I do see Blanco grinding out 3.5, 4 yards, pop a pass here, 3.5, 4 yards, moving down the field in that manner. They are more than capable of doing that with a very good senior-laden offensive line as well. And we'll give all that information. We'll have the rosters as well. So look for a hard game on Friday night in Blanco. Don't go to the stadium, like I've said for about 30 times, right? Don't go in there with a cocky attitude and think that we're just going to roll right over Blanco. That's not going to happen. They're a 3A Division I team. So is Jourdanton. Except they pass the ball 30% of the time and then run the ball 70% of the time, much like just the opposite of Jourdanton, much like us. So that's going to be on the menu. Get ready for some Friday Night Lights. I am fired up going back to Blanco. Have some personal friends over there, and going to be glad to see them as well. And we'll be broadcasting at 7 p.m. The pregame will start then. It's a smaller booth. That's why I limited the pregame show, because there's not a lot of room inside their booth. And so it's kind of gets noisy, crowded, and rowdy. And we'll start that off at 7 o'clock. TJ will be with the camera. We'll hope to give you another good look at a good game. It's kind of a close stadium, so we'll have a lot of tight shots in there as well. LJ will come up with some stats and facts on the players and who's who on the Blanco front line and backfield. Also, their talented, gifted positions on their on the wideouts or tight ends they bring in as well. So it's going to be a good game. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Homestead Roofing, Mike Corner, Gold Financial, Steve Kirsch, Brookshire Hathaway. Thank you so much. Along with Elite Water Rentals, that's Mike McMullen, Brookshire Brothers, Bliss Designs for awesome Canyon Lake gear. Look them up. Also like to thank Rooter Plumbing Services, and that is Jared. When you have problems with your plumbing, get a hold of Rooter Plumbing Services. Also, Cowboy Plumbing Services. They also do residential and construction. They came on again this year, as usual. Like to thank everybody's sponsorships out there. Got a few new commercials for you this year, and always looking for a sponsor if you'd like to join King Lake Broadcasting. And we're always growing and expanding. So I'll touch on the last thing that I promised you I'd get back to, and that is what King Lake Broadcasting has going on. We've got some games ahead of us. The district home game, that'll be LBJ. LBJ's got some D1 commits, much like some of the teams we played in the past, like LaGrange we had some D1s. They're going to be very hard. So it is essential that we get this win, but it's essential we get started in the right foot for district, because once the district's over, we're 0-0. Big win possibilities. LBJ, Austin comes into town. They are big, they are fast, and they have talent. You should be scared about that game. Then we'll go into Taylor and Fredericksburg and Lampasas and Barnett. We've got a blistering schedule. The Fredericksburg Battling Billies beat Bernie at home 25-24 or 26-24. I watched it last week on my way to West Texas A&M to see my son. Pulled over in the highway up in the Panhandle, and they get an onside kick, scored, then threw a 2-point conversion, no time left on the clocks, and beat the Bernie in their home crib. Man, it was a good win for Fredericksburg. A lot of people up there, and they're glad that they got over on Bernie and their kid in their crib and punked them. And then they played a lot of good games. They're 4-1. They are for real, folks. As is Lampasas. I'm not going to go into that too much because that's down the road. But the games you might be thinking about, hey, maybe Taylor, the weak spot in our schedule. True. They are in a rebuilding year, but we tried to beat them in 2015 and 16, and we fumbled the ball, and they beat us. It wasn't until 2017 that we came to Taylor for the district matchup, and we thumped them hard at home on that big old field. 100 years we've been playing on this field. This is the last game, until our 2017 crew came in there and punked them on the last day of the last game on that last field. Yada, 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 yada. We wiped them up pretty good. That's what people are looking forward to do right now when Lampasas comes to town. They're all big. They're all shiny. Ace Whitehead, the left-handed, he's got like 500 yards rushing. He's on fire. I will tell you this. A lot of people told me the same thing about Bernie in 2017. 6-0. Hadn't been this good since 1963. State bound, rolling, undefeated, 7-0. What happened to them? We punked them on their HOCO. So keep these things in mind. And that's what Blanco's going to look to do to us as well. And so these things happen. You got to play the game. And this year's team is really a good team, and I believe in what they're doing. I see improvements every year. So the schedule's going to be tough. Taylor's going to be another game that they're looking to take away from us like they did in 15 and 16. And we've got Austin LBJ. And then at the end of it all, we've got Burnet in Burnet. That's not going to be a gimme. Burnet has done well this year. Go ahead and look up all these teams in district right now. I urge you to see what they're doing, see who they're going to play tomorrow night. Some of them have buys, but I believe Austin LBJ plays Manor. The check on that, but follow them there. We'll give you some updates and scores as the game goes on tomorrow night from Blanco, as we always do. Pre-game shows at 7 o'clock, and we'll go to Blanco and be there for you. Tell all your friends to watch Canyon Lake Broadcasting, Voice of the Hawks. We'll get some good camera shots for you guys, a little pre-game stuff going on. Go over all the stats and facts and rosters of everything that is good about Canyon Lake Hawk football, man. And it's go time. Stay safe. Keep your mask on. Don't congregate. Stay safe. Get your friends to separate so we can play football. And also, Canyon Lake cheerleaders, from what I understand, they're back out of quarantine. They were shut down. The whole squad was shut down for 2 weeks. So I don't know if they'll be there, but they'll be back against Austin LBJ. And we really appreciate them. Glad to have them all back. But they got the quarantine and got the no. You can't go to school. And they all that's the viciousness of COVID, man. The Rona. Don't get the Rona. So we'll see you there Friday night. Canyon Lake Hawks taking on the 2-2 Canyon Lake Hawks, taking on the 4-1 Blanco Panthers in Blanco. Get there early, get you something to eat, watch the game, bring every kind of noise device you possibly can think of, okay? And get in the stands and be loud. We're going to be at 50% capacity, but we can show up bigger than that. So we appreciate everything out there. We appreciate our sponsors. Thank you, Comal ISD and Canyon Lake High School for supporting us. Shout out to Jim Robinson. Thank you for everything you've done. And I got bigger news next Monday from the Coach's Corner. We got a surprise guest. Don't forget, Monday, 6:30 from the gym, the Coach's Corner, live on YouTube with a surprise guest. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the football game. Go Canyon Lake, BTHO, the Blanco Panthers. Later.